What's up, YouTube? Today's video is going to be about Championship Sunday, where we have the Final Four in the NFL. On the AFC side, we have the Kansas City Chiefs at the Baltimore Ravens, who have the best record in the league. The Baltimore Ravens finished the season 13-4. Kansas City Chiefs finished the season 11-6. And that is the first game of Championship Sunday. Who do I think is going to win this game? Me personally, I know that Baltimore has the better team. They've been the better team. They've been absolutely dominant over the course of the regular season, but I will be more inclined to pick Kansas City because it's going to be cold in Baltimore. Patrick Mahomes has been playing like the greatest quarterback in the 2020s. Lamar Jackson is a great quarterback. He had a very good season. He will be the MVP. But I just think that Kansas City's defense is going to slow them down more than Baltimore Ravens defense is going to slow down Kansas City. I think this is going to be a defensive battle. I think both teams will be lucky to score over 20 points in the game. This is going to be a game that's predicated on running the ball. It's going to be predicated on keeping these quarterbacks in the pocket when they are passing, which will be a harder job for Kansas City because Lamar Jackson is the best running quarterback in the league. And Lamar Jackson can definitely throw the ball as well. But I just don't think this is going to be a game that's going to be won by throwing the ball. I think it's going to be won by defense, turnovers, and being able to cash in the red zone. I could easily see this as being a game where the difference between winning and losing is scoring in the red zone. I think Baltimore is going to be energized by their crowd. But ultimately, for Baltimore to win this game, they're going to have to jump on Kansas City, and they're going to have to beat Kansas City to submission. And they're going to have to keep going. You cannot allow Mahomes to have life in this game. You can't allow him to scramble out of the pocket. Can't get lost in coverage against these receivers because they were dropping passes before, but now they're starting to catch passes. I haven't seen too many egregious drops from Kansas City since that week they played against against the Patriots, where Kadarius Toney dropped that pass that I believe was returned for a touchdown on the other end, or probably returned close to the goal line. But ultimately, I think it just comes down to defense, being able to score in the red zone. For the Ravens to win this game, they will have to score in the red zone. You don't want to have two drives and only be up 6 points. You don't want to have two drives and only be up by 10 points. If you have two early drives in the game tomorrow, you're going to want to cash in on both of them. You're going to want to put pressure on Kansas City. You're going to want to put pressure on Patrick Mahomes. You're going to want to abuse him. You're going to want to send him confusing looks on defense. You want to use stunts. You want to use, all types of different defensive schemes to confuse Patrick Mahomes. And you don't want to do man coverage because that's usually I will say that man coverage, the Ravens can play man coverage. It's usually zone coverage. That's where people start getting lost when they play zone. When you play man, you can get lost if the quarterback starts scrambling. Then you got to have your eyes on the quarterback, and that's not good because your back maybe turned to the receiver that you're guarding, and now he has went somewhere completely different on like a playground play, backyard football, and now you getting burnt. So that's what it's going to come down to for the Ravens. I think the Chiefs will win. I think the Chiefs win 20-17. Like I said, I think both teams will be lucky to score over 20 points. I think the Chiefs win 20-17 in a defensive battle. I think the Ravens are going to be stifled on their offense by Kansas City's great defense that has been great the whole year. Moving on to the NFC Championship game, we have the Detroit Lions taking a trip to San Francisco, where San Francisco is -7.5. Debo was hurt last week. He's off the injury report. He will be playing against the Lions. And I see this as a complete mismatch for Detroit. But I have keys to the game for both teams. So for San Francisco to win this game, you're going to want to run the ball with Christian McCaffrey and confuse Detroit with your blocking schemes. Confuse Detroit with your rushing attack. The 49ers, they love to use pretty much a lot of different. They use their receivers as running backs. That's how Kyle Shanahan, does the play calling for San Francisco. But ultimately, Brock Purdy has been playing very good football this year. The 49ers have looked like a top 3 team in the league. And the Lions, I don't really like the Lions defense. I don't like their pass rush. It takes a lot for them to get pressure. Like, they have to scheme pressure. Like, it comes down more than just talent. I think the Lions have to, in order for the Lions to win this game, they will have to be on an ethereal level as far as their coaching goes and their discipline on defense in order for them to even have a chance of stopping San Francisco's offense, because they got so many weapons on their offense. They got Ayuk, they got McCaffrey, they got Deebo Samuel, they got George Kittle. So they got many different weapons, and it's going to be hard to keep them all at bay. But I will give the Lions defense some props. Their passing defense has looked bad this year, but they've done a decent job as of late. When I say as of late, I really mean in the past month, stopping teams from scoring when they need to, or coming up with a big interception. Last week, the Lions' pass defense was not very good, but they did come up with 2 interceptions. They came up with an interception on the first drive, and they came up with an interception on the last drive, where Tampa Bay had a chance to tie the game with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. So they did come up with the big play there. There were some big plays that did come down to coaching, where they made it look like they were just playing straight up man with no help over the top, and then they had the safety rotate over to where, I don't remember what corner it was, but that was a really good play designed by Aaron Glenn. It was a very good play designed by Aaron Glenn to get pressure on Baker Mayfield and force him into a very tough throw to make. The Lions have played pretty well over the last 2 games, especially on offense. Their offense has looked pretty good, especially last game. Against the Rams, I felt like they were stagnant in the second half. They only scored 3 points in the second half, but they did come up with the big play on second down, to throw to Amon-Ra St. Brown to win the game and keep the Rams from getting the ball back. So they did make a big play on offense when they needed to. And the same thing applies to the Tampa Bay game. They put enough separation between them and Tampa Bay. It was a nip and tuck game through 3 quarters. It was tied at 17 after 3 quarters, but the Lions did a good job of they did a good job putting separation between themselves and Tampa Bay by having a 14-point lead. San Francisco played a very close game against Green Bay. Green Bay missed a field goal that would have put them up by 7 in the fourth quarter, and the 49ers went down the field and won the game. Jordan Love threw a couple of interceptions. The game was raining during that game, so that contributed to the decline in the proficiency of the 49ers on offense. So the 49ers are going to bring their A game. On offense for the Lions, it's going to come down to obviously being able to stay in front of the sticks. Being able to stay in front of the sticks. That's really all it comes down to. You don't want to be behind the sticks. That's where you start becoming turnover prone. That's when Goff starts getting pressured. That's where the defense starts getting confident. That's where the crowd starts going ham. And you're in a very hostile environment against a team that has played some of the best football in the NFL. They've been blowing teams out. They blew out Dallas. They blew out Philly. They blew out Jacksonville. They blew out the Steelers. They've been utterly dominant over this year. And the Lions could very well be running into a buzzsaw. They could very well be running into a buzzsaw over in San Francisco. But ultimately, it's going to take everything from the Lions to win this game. There's history riding on this game, but I don't feel like the Lions are quite there just yet. I don't think they're there just yet. I think the 49ers win this game. I think they win by double digits. I think the Lions are going to show some heart, but I just think the 49ers are too good. And I think it's going to be a rematch between Kansas City and San Francisco. That's what I think the Super Bowl is going to be. This time, instead of Jimmy Garoppolo, it will be Brock Purdy going up against Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Great season for the Lions, but it's going to be a disappointing end. Great season for the Ravens, but it's going to be a disappointing end. That's all I got to say. I'll see y'all next time.